Hey, fans of the Monday Movie Club, all three of you. This week we tackle another of Steven Spielberg's masterpieces, Raiders of the Lost Ark, which was selected by Annie and opened 41 years ago this very week. Did you go opening weekend, anybody?
I actually saw it as a sneak preview a week or two before.
Oh, a week before. Wow.
I have a great story about that. So,
all right. I'm Frank Gaffney. Here with me is Amy Goldman, who's got a big headache right here, and Joel Fenster, who's got his Raiders of the Lost Ark
my Chachapoyan Fatili idol.
what he said,
Yes.
and Mark Wotsitz Gartner, and Annie King, who's not traveling anywhere this week.
No, I'm
Very
home
quiet.
all by myself.
Very quiet week. Okay, Annie, why did you want us to watch this one?
Well, I think this was maybe the first real action adventure movie I saw. And it just turned me on to action adventures. Like, it was just funny. And I kind of, loved Harrison Ford from Star Wars already. So it was just a lot of fun to watch.
I agree. Joel, little backstory. What was it? George Lucas, was this the one where he couldn't get Flash Gordon, so he wrote this?
No, that was Star Wars. Obviously,
Oh,
George
sorry.
Lucas had a love of the old serials from the 30s.
Yeah,
and
because this
40s.
is very reminiscent of
Oh, it's
those.
very reminiscent of that. And he had actually been working on this idea before Star Wars, of having this adventure kind of like, Congo Bill or Zorro or, the Lone Ranger kind of, type of action adventure serials that went on back then.
And so he's in Hawaii with Steven Spielberg. They're vacationing.
Yes,
As
after
friends do.
Star Wars opened, yes.
Yeah, as friends do.
Yes.
And George says, I have this idea.
Well, yeah, and he had actually been working on it with director Philip Kaufman for a while. The intention was that Kaufman was going to direct it, but he wound up getting involved in something else, and Lucas was like, "Hey, Steve, what do you think?" And they kind of ran with it, fleshed it out, brought in Lawrence Kasdan to help out with the scripting.
That was a brilliant choice, of course.
Yeah.
And I just could imagine, like 12-year-old boys thinking, ooh, this is going to be fun. All right, so I very vividly remember seeing it. I don't know that I went to a preview for it, smiling the entire time. And when the little plane went on the map and started, going to just so much fun, because it is reminiscent of all those movies in the 30s and 40s with that kind of, that kind of detail and paying homage at the same time, updating it and making it fun for us. And even, I've seen this movie probably 10, 15 times. I don't even know. And as Annie says, it's a remote dropper. If it's on, I'm just stopping and I'm watching it no matter what. So, but I wanted to talk about, this is something that we always discuss about how the Oscars have their heads up their asses. But back in 1981, Raiders of the Lost Ark was nominated for Best Picture with Reds, On Golden Pond, and Chariots of Fire won the award. The other fifth nominee, Atlantic City, was the only one that wasn't one of the top grosses of the year. And that's, for me, that's the dichotomy of 40 years ago, the popular pictures were critical successes, and now the popular pictures are not. Last year, the only Best Picture nominee that was in the top 20 grossers was Dune. The other 9 made $5 each. So, we definitely, either it's a combination of pandering, certainly, but also that the Academy got more highfalutin and there were more independent films being made that they were like, oh, that's what we want to stand for, that kind of movie, and not the popular entertainment. Come on, Spider-Man Far From Home, which now is the number 3 movie of all time, not adjusted for inflation, and has got amazing reviews, did not get nominated for Best Picture. Sorry, there's something wrong. Absolutely wrong. Everybody agrees with me?
Yes. And I did catch Licorice Pizza on my last plane ride. And while it was fun, nowhere near Spider-Man.
Yeah, no, there was not one other movie that was more fun for me last year than Far From Home. No Way Home. No Way Home.
No Way Home.
And did you see they're releasing it again in September with
added
more
stuff.
footage?
Yeah.
With more footage. I mean, they're gonna put in like 3 more minutes and then charge you to go see it again.
Put in 3 more Spider-Men too.
And it's going to be at the end of the movie anyway, so you have to. It's not like you could walk in, wait 20 minutes and then leave.
It's going to be 3
no, they're
minutes of
gonna
post-credit sequence.
Yeah.
Right.
Of them pointing at each other. Just
They're gonna integrate it, right? They're gonna integrate
There was one of the movies
That's-
I think it was Avengers, one of the last 2 Avengers movies they re-released in theaters. And I think it was after Stan Lee died, and they were like, yeah, there's new footage, and it was basically like a tribute to Stan Lee that they shoved at the end of the movie.
Oh, gross.
Well, that's not what's gonna happen this time.
Well, no, because Stan Lee's been dead long enough that there's no reason to give him another tribute.
Oh no, they're gonna revive him. They're gonna animate him.
yeah.
And all right, so but in 1981, you had to actually go to the movies to see Raiders of the Lost Ark. You couldn't stream it. DVDs were, always, 6-9 months down the road till it even came to the cable stations. So the window has closed just as much. Okay, so here's my review. It's funny, ingenious, and stylish. Harrison Ford is perfect as a lovable rogue. The locations, the theme music, special effects are breathtaking. The cinematography is dazzling, blah, blah, blah. But I love it. So that's it. So let me see what else I wrote. I wrote an actual full review. So oh, and if I can just say, we just watched Uncharted.
Yep.
Uncharted.
With Tom Holland and
Uncharted.
What's a burger?
Which, is based on some video game, and they're trying to make it into a Raiders of the Lost Ark thing, but it misses by a mile. So, so Spielberg, Lucas, and Lawrence Kasdan, the ones to show us how to expertly combine the ingredients. It's a must for everybody. It's a 4-star review for me. And Aim, what do you think?
Well, I am about to blow your mind
Uh-oh.
and say, this is the first time I ever saw it.
Ah!
What?
And
Wow.
this movie came out like a week or 2 before I turned 15, and I had no interest in any kind of movie like this at all. Nothing, never. And over the years, I thought, I'm not going to like it. I'm just not going to like it. And Frank, I swear at your apartment in Maspeth, I watched half of it. I might have been alone, but I have no memory of it. But I have a memory of saying, yeah, I've seen half of it in Maspeth. So this was really the first time I ever saw it. And what amazed me is we have seen Saffido a million times in the past 40 years. I never knew it was Alfred Molina until watching the titles. It said, oh, Alfred Molina's in this. The second you saw him, I was like, oh my God, that's Alfred Molina. Without that frame of reference, I had
He's like
no
12
idea.
years old.
His first
What?
movie. His first
movie, he's like
Yeah.
12 years old.
Yeah, he was adorable in it. And I thought it was really funny when he was escaping on the plane. The Hornitos were all stormtroopers. There were a lot of stormtroopers in this movie with their automatic rifles, missing every single thing they were trying to hit. It was pretty sad. One thing that like kind of drove me crazy, and I remember it was all over Star Wars, was whenever you saw Indy, at least for the entire last hour, whenever he did something heroic, you heard some version of dun 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 dun. It was a slow version, faster, different instruments. Constant. It was just like with the Star Wars theme. Here
Yeah,
comes
but
the
you have to
Skywalker.
remember in 1981, the theme wasn't that recognizable.
No, I know. I'm just saying it was like enough with this theme, and then like all of the music was nothing but these loud brass instruments, and I was like, I'm not digging this music at all. But
Well, because you have a headache.
yeah, right, I did. Dun, 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 again with this. I wrote down a couple of notes.
But there's no more heroic music than that.
Oh, it's
that is
it's beautiful.
beautiful.
I totally agree. I was just sick of hearing it. Three things I hate in film. The first one is the zooming in of the camera, which we discussed, and they did it at the beginning of this movie. At some point, somebody zoomed in on someone. Then there's the putting the thing over the person's mouth, but they're just biting it. I'm like, this person can talk with the thing in their mouth. They had that. And then the thing I hate the most, when someone is really hungry, they sit down and they eat like this, like nobody would do in real life. And of course she had to do that. I was like, oh, my other thing I hate the most. But then
I
I'm
eat like that normally.
what?
I eat like that normally.
Well, sure.
I've seen it.
Yeah, hello.
I
Eat
did.
that
I
across
did.
me.
I did like that there were a lot of cute laughs and moments where you wouldn't expect it. And I loved when she was trying to escape from the tent and the Nazi came in and pulled out that metal weapon and snapped it, and it was a hanger. Actual LOL. That was great.
And of course, the biggest laugh was only because Harrison Ford had dysentery,
Yes.
because they had choreographed a whole fight scene with the
Oh
sword.
yeah, with the gun. Yeah.
And he's
that
like,
was great.
let's just shoot the sucker.
That was
Oh my God.
That
Really.
was great.
That probably, I remember that getting the biggest laugh of the
I'm
whole
sure.
movie.
Very well deserved. And finally, I remember when they were moving the roof of the something, they had to move that big, ceramic, cement roof thing, whatever. One of the guys yelled, "Imshi, Imshi." And when my friend Denise and I were supposed to go to Egypt in like 1990, we started learning words that we needed to know as two single women in Egypt. And the one word I remember was Imshi, and that means get away. And I just thought, oh my God, he's actually saying the one word I know.
Fantastic.
Because two alluring women in Egypt
Very
have to
alluring
tell
women
men,
in
get
Egypt.
away.
You learn get away.
Imshi.
Imshi. So that's it. I think a lot of people love this movie and give it 4 stars because of what it is, just like Star Wars. I did not think it was a 4-star movie, but I can very much appreciate it. And I'll go with 3.33. I didn't love it like I really wanted to.
Well, I'm saying you're saying 3.33 because you have a headache. If you didn't have a headache, it'd be 3.5 easy.
Maybe.
Mark, don't you agree?
Totally. Yeah, no, I think last year, I think it was when we were watching Empire Strikes Back, I said something like, if you have a story by George Lucas, a screenplay by Lawrence Kasdan, and it's directed by Spielberg, sign me up every time. And here it is. So for me, it's not a 4-star movie. It's a 3.75 for me. My only nits to pick really are 2 things. Number one, the constant damsel in distress, which I know was a sign of the times, but Karen Allen would constantly save Indiana Jones and then immediately need to be saved in return. Like she could never just save him without needing to be saved. It was a little bit much like when we watched
That's a relationship. You think Danielle doesn't save your ass?
She does, but she doesn't need to be immediately saved by me back. That's all. There was that. And then the scene where they're trying to find the map room and find the location of the Ark in the desert. And Indy and Salah are up on the thing. Everyone has a clear view of them. It's the most obvious. To me, it was just very dumb. They're like in the middle of everything. Anyone can see them, and they're acting as if.
Yeah, but if
they're
you
invisible.
don't look up, you're focused on what's going on here.
No,
You're not looking over
there is
there.
nothing in the way. They're
They could be
easily seen. There's a
anybody.
million Nazis around them. They should have been seen right away. It was a little
They could
silly.
be anybody.
They
could be other
Anyway.
Nazis.
Those basically those 2 reasons are why I'm giving it a 3.75. But everything else, I mean, it is to me one of the like a perfect action adventure movie. So Annie, thank you for picking this. This is fantastic. So many iconic.
Wait, Mark, how many times have you seen it?
You know what's funny? I don't know.
I'm
only
surprised
6 or
that Amy
7
never saw it. So,
I would say 6 or 7 times.
oh, okay.
But here's the funny thing. But as again, this is the total kid nostalgia factor. When I was a kid, I had Temple of Doom, the sequel, as well as Rocky 2 on video cassette. So I watched those two movies 80 times.
More than the
and I thought they
original.
were, and then when I saw like Rocky 1 and this one, I was like, it's boring, it's slow, not as good as the second one. As an adult, I can see that these movies are better, but those sequels had a little bit more action in them, and I found them much more, as a 12-year-old, I was totally into them.
And
So,
now
and
that
I'll
you're
talk
a
about that next year when I make
15-year-old,
you everyone watch Rocky.
and
I
now
would
that you're a
love that.
15-year-old,
And now that I'm 15-year-old, I can appreciate the originals a little bit more. What else? I remember thinking I guess everyone's British in this movie, but the ugly German with the glasses. I remember thinking that's what German people look like, and saying that Germans were ugly and weird. And my mom was like, "Dude, you're German." I was
well,
like,
then
"Oh,
that's
okay."
true, because you are ugly and weird as well.
That hurts. That hurts.
What you
right?
really
Right.
meant was Nazis are ugly and weird, not Germans per se.
But as a kid, I just associated.
Wait,
Um,
Joel, wasn't he not an actor or something? I thought I read that.
Ronald Lacey?
Yeah, was that-
I don't remember at this
all right,
point.
go on.
That's really it for me. We thoroughly enjoyed, and I also remember thinking as a kid when I finally saw this that, I would love to be that, like a handsome school teacher who is a swashbuckler on the side, which is why I'm now an accountant by day and a ninja by night.
Well, there you go. Can you
That's it.
do the next video in your ninja outfit so we can see?
I have a ninja outfit actually that I
right.
wore for Halloween.
Well, next is Karate Kid, so you should wear your ninja outfit.
Yeah, but I got to do it in front of all you guys at Joel's house.
Oh, right.
Yeah, hello. Spoiler alert.
Oh.
We're getting together next week.
Now we have to change our plans.
Yeah, forget it. You ruined everything. Wait,
Sorry.
Joel, just edit that part out.
Yeah, no, I don't have time for that. I got to get to rehearsal.
He's kidding.
I know.
I'm kidding.
Frank, before you go on to the next person, one thing I forgot was, remember when we were in Disney World in 1991 and we saw that great Indiana Jones spectacular
Right.
and the fire and everything. And when I watched
Right.
the movie yesterday, I was like, oh, that's where that came from. That's
we actually just went this year again to see it. The show at Disney. It's exactly the same as it was
Oh my
30
God.
years ago.
I saw that in 96, and then I saw it again like 20 years later, and I was like, they haven't changed the thing. Yeah.
Yeah. I
Right.
mean, why wouldn't they upgrade something?
Yeah, well, they actually, no, I was reading they did upgrade it like within the last decade or so, but it took a long time for them to get there with it.
Wow.
And,
Yeah, I don't
and
know
They may
about-
just
I
have
don't know about-
upgraded, the intensity of certain things.
Of the fire.
Yeah. So
Something. All right, Joel. Is this one of your favorite movies of all time? Would it go in your 100 list?
yes, it would easily.
Yeah, yeah.
It's I love this.
It's
movie.
number 35 on the Franken list.
Deserves
Just
to
thought
be-
you'd want to know that.
Sure, of course.
I read your review of it last night just to see, out of curiosity, from when you last reviewed it.
How funny.
I love this movie. I saw it. I was 11 when I saw it. We saw it in the theaters. We had actually this would have been either Memorial Day weekend of 81 or the weekend after, because it opened on the 12th. And my mom actually was taking my brother and I and a friend of mine to see The Legend of the Lone Ranger, because we all wanted to see that. And it was sold out. And they were like, well, we have this other movie playing. It's a sneak preview. It's an adventure movie. We don't know much else about it. So my mom was like, all right, let's go see it.
Could you imagine in 1981 not knowing very
Yeah.
much about today? You know everything about every movie that's coming out 3
Yep.
years from now.
I was enthralled, and I remember sitting there watching the movie, and like, by the time you get to the end, my mom had her hands like this over her face and over my brother's face. She didn't, because with the face melting and everything.
Ah,
We
yeah.
freaked out.
She didn't want to melt. She didn't want
Yeah,
to melt.
exactly. So so that was a great experience to kind
Oh,
of.
it just reminded me. I'm sorry, Joel.
That's okay.
In Uncharted, they even have a little reference to Indiana Jones, and it's some variation of snakes. Why does it have to be snakes? But I
Right,
don't
of
remember what it
course.
was.
Look, it's as Mark said, it's a concept by George Lucas, fleshed out by Lawrence Kasdan, directed by by Steven Spielberg. I'd like to say you can't go wrong with that, but then, we did get, Kingdom of the Crystal Skull.
Was Lawrence Kasdan involved in that one too?
I don't think he was actually. I think it was,
No.
I don't remember because I've kind of blocked that out of my head at this point.
You need
I
Larry.
thought Lucas wrote that one.
I know he was involved in the screenplay, but let's not
You
talk
call
about
that a screenplay?
Yeah. Anyway,
But, the other thing that was really fun about this movie, of course, was that Harrison Ford got hurt. You didn't very much see heroes going, "Ow, ooh, that
right.
hurt."
Yeah.
So that was brilliant too.
And it's very much a throwback to all of those movie serials and action film. And the scene where Indiana Jones is going underneath the truck and he, hooks his
Oh my
whip on,
gosh.
dragging
Of
behind.
course.
Yakima Canutt did that in Stagecoach.
Yeah. Stagecoach. yeah.
Years ago,
Yakima Canuck.
what do you want from my life?
Yakima, Yakima.
Is he related to Tiki Watakiti?
Yeah, sure. Anyway, it's got that feel, even down to like the cliffhanger aspect of things, because it's very it's episodic. We're going from one stunt piece to the next stunt piece, and it's like he gets out of it, and then there's almost another one right after it. And
here's the other really cuteness I love too, is that here's George and Stevie on the beach in Kauai, and they're like, "Hey, that mountain looks like the Paramount logo.
right.
Let's open the movie that way."
There you go. I would like to point out two minor bits of trivia. Aside from this is Alfred Molina's first.
Amy, show us your minor bits of trivia.
There are two connections to everybody's favorite film, Flash Gordon, in this movie.
One being,
one is at the beginning or towards the beginning of the film when Indy meets with the two Army guys. Major Eaton played Munson, Dr. Zarkov's assistant, who gets crushed by the plane when it crashes into the laboratory.
okay.
And Captain.
Wait, so this was after?
This is after Flash Gordon. Yeah.
1 year after, right?
1 year after. Well, actually, not 1 year after, because it was released 6 months after. So
Yeah.
probably shooting around the same time in the same places. And then Captain Katanga, who is the captain of the ship that Indy and Marion are trying to transport the Ark onto before it's intercepted by the Germans in the submarine, was Prince Thun, the prince that Ming killed in the opening scene that he's in.
Okay, so there are two obscure connections to Flash Gordon. Thank you.
Exactly, not a problem. Just wanted to make sure you got that in there. So,
And if we go back and watch the Flash Gordon recording of us, you probably told us that trivia then too. And
Oh yeah, like they're also in Raiders of the Lost Ark.
probably not, but that's okay. I might have said that William Hootkins, who played Major Eaton in Raiders and Munson in Flash Gordon, is actually also Lieutenant Eckhart in Batman. But
But enough about trivia.
But
No,
enough about
but here's the thing. So George Lucas has now said, saying whatever. So you wouldn't let me do Flash Gordon. Ha!
right there you go. He one-upped them with his own movie serial spectacular. It's,
Yeah.
As I said, it's a fun film. It's a great throwback. I've lost count of how many times I've seen it. I'm a big Indiana Jones fan. I've read the novels that were published after this, the comic books. I've got action figures and Lego sets.
Yeah, because back in the day they would do novelizations of movies.
Well, it's not
That
just
was a
novelizations.
regular practice.
Right, but it's not just the novelizations of the movie. I actually still have the novelization of Raiders from 1981 or 2, whenever it was published, but they published a whole series of other Indiana Jones adventures as novels. So
Maybe that's where number 5 is coming from.
No.
Maybe they should have taken number 5.
possibly, or at least number 4.
So is number 5 is Stevie directing it?
It's James Mangold.
Do we know?
oh,
him?
okay.
Yeah.
He's done Marvel stuff, right?
No, he's I should know this off the top of my head, but honestly, it's too
Well,
early
since your
anymore.
glasses are on top of your head, there's no room for it.
Exactly. That's exactly the case. Hang on, I will tell you.
Cringer.
Joel, I don't want to rub it in or anything, but I think I took your ticket because I went to go see Legend of Lone Ranger in the theater when I was 6 years old.
I'm sorry to hear that. I
Yeah, I'm sorry, I saw it too.
I did eventually see it, and the best part about that movie is when I was in graduate school at the University of Miami, studying for my MFA in screenwriting. Worth nothing, just mentioning it. The director of the program had been a big Hollywood producer, and he had been involved in that movie. And he was telling us a story about it during one class, and he couldn't remember the name of the actor who played the Lone Ranger in the movie. And I just like dropped it out of my ass, like the minute he started blanking on it, and everybody looked
Who
at me
was it?
like, I was like, I saw the movie.
Who was it? Who played Lone-
Clinton Spilsbury.
Oh, sure.
Didn't
Yeah.
you just say post
Very
that or
famous.
something?
I-
That story?
I don't know. I might have.
It's very funny.
Joel, I thought you were going to tell us a story about how your teacher told you that isn't this movie a metaphor for?
So, as an undergraduate, I had a professor in that school who had this whole dissertation about how Raiders of the Lost Ark is really a metaphor for the Reagan era, or
And is Reagan the Nazis or the?
no. Reagan is Indiana Jones, and he proved that
Right.
by showing us a picture from Ronald Reagan movie called Hong Kong, where Reagan is pretty much dressed exactly as Harrison Ford is, with the fedora and the leather jacket, and there's a little Asian boy in a baseball cap next to him.
That's funny.
And I'm like, okay. But, that professor also kind of talked like Mickey Mouse like this. So it was kind of fun to make fun of him a little bit when he would talk about things like, Jaws is really about the Nixon administration, and Raiders of the Lost Ark's about the Reagan administration. And I guess if he had continued on further, that something that came out last year would be about the Trump administration. So anyway.
That's all I got out of that was 1-800 OK
Right,
Cable.
cable.
All right, Joel, what
Four stars.
Stars, of course, Joel.
What else would it be?
I knew I loved you. Annie, this has got to be a 4-star movie for you.
Yeah, it's a 4-star movie, and
All
as
right.
many times as I've seen it, when it comes on, we'll always watch it. I had not seen the beginning forever because I always come in like as
Right,
it's
When
playing,
it's on. Yeah.
and watching it from the beginning again, I was like, oh yeah, this is why I loved it so much. Like just that whole beginning with him and the sand and weighing it. It was just fantastic.
And of course, the big ball.
Yeah. That was just, amazing.
He had such a great reaction when he put the sandbag down, and he was just like,
Yeah.
hey, it worked, but I never knew that he took some of the sand out. I thought that was really smart. He didn't take out enough sand, but
Or
I
he
don't-
took
I
out
don't-
too much.
Yeah,
I think
I don't
it was still too heavy. I thought
I
that
think
was
it
the
would.
issue.
I don't think it would have mattered. He
Well,
couldn't
in
possibly
reality,
have
it wouldn't
moved it
matter.
quick enough.
Right.
Ah,
One of our favorite lines is snakes. Why did it have to be snakes? We say
Right.
that all the time, Danny and
Right.
I. It's like
And
for
replacing
anything.
the word for any other thing.
Yes, exactly.
Diarrhea. Why did it have to be diarrhea?
It's just yeah.
No, in this case, cringer. Why did it have to be cringer?
There's this one scene where I think they're like up top where they're getting the ark and stuff, and he puts on his hat, and I'm like, nobody else is wearing a hat. Aren't they going to notice that it's him up there?
Right.
Yeah.
But he has to have his hat. That's part of him.
Yes, and of course the whip. I love that too.
And of course, when he's teaching and all the girls are googly eye, and there's that gay guy who's just as googly eye, I'm like, thank you very much. I felt seen in that
I missed that.
Oh, I love. It took me forever to figure out what she had on her eyelid.
written on her eyelids.
Yeah,
Oh, really?
yeah. And of course, the worst scene was the plane blades when
That was a
I was
great
like, what?
effect.
Like,
That was
oh,
great.
just
Yeah.
another quick bit of trivia: the actor or the stuntman playing the mechanic that gets shredded by the blades also plays
He's dead
one of
now.
the Sherpas earlier in the film at Marion's bar.
Oh,
The pilot of that plane is also producer Frank Marshall, and the guy that plays the man with the monkey is also the other guide at the beginning of the film, the one that's not Alfred Molina. So
Oh,
Okay.
whatever all that's worth, I know a crap load about the movie. so.
Double casting.
Yeah.
They save money.
yeah. So,
Get the producer to do a part.
yeah, I love the I'm making this up as I go thing.
Yeah,
like, the plan,
yeah.
That was great. Did he have to come charging down on a white horse? I was like, not a white
Yes.
horse. That is-
Yes, he did. Yes.
Like,
The
yeah,
hero was always on a white horse.
yes.
Yeah.
I was like, that's so, yeah. And then
Had
like
to.
he's hanging on with his arm shot, and I was like, that's amazing.
Hello, we just watched 26 Marvel movies. I
Yes.
think you can accept that.
With Aunt May hanging on. using her
Yeah,
umbrella.
with the umbrella.
Exactly.
Yeah, but yeah, it's just it was fun. I loved it, and I guess I never thought of myself as an action adventure movie person, and yet if I go back and look at some of my favorite movies that I love to watch, there are a lot of action adventure ones.
I thought the
in there.
same thing about the same genre. I don't like action adventure, but I love that one. And I love that one too.
Yeah. So yeah, so that's why, I would watch this whenever, because it's just fun. It is. So 4 stars for me.
There's only 2 genres I don't like: horror movies
Yeah, I'm not.
and Westerns.
Yeah,
Don't care.
Westerns I have no interest in.
And
But,
war
you
movies. You
know-
don't like war movies,
And you don't
right?
like war?
War
'cause you-
movies, no. But there are exceptions, of course, to every rule. As I've been watching now, I've watched like some 500 movies in 4 years, and some of those Westerns were good movies.
Yeah.
All right.
Wait,
so,
wait. I thought of 2 things. I'm sorry.
what are you,
Number
Joel,
one,
now interrupting? Go
Well, I'm going to
ahead.
interrupt after Mark's done.
Oh, please do.
I'm a sucker for anything like off-screen screams. And when Harrison Ford gets hit with the mirror at the on the ship when Karen Allen is, that's the one scene. I remember again, I used to watch Temple of Doom and I didn't know this movie much at all. And that was like the one scene I remember from as a kid. Even as a little kid, I laughed at that a lot. And I still think that's like my favorite part of the movie. And number 2, the very end scene of just them wheeling in the ark and putting it in the storage,
Yeah.
whatever. It's one of the
Amazing.
greatest endings, I think, to a movie, just
Amazing.
to show
Yeah.
what idiots we are as human
Right.
beings sometimes.
Yeah. That is amazing. Absolutely.
Yeah.
But that's the whole Area 51 thing. They don't tell us about it. It's there. All right. So
Or
yeah,
as
but
they say in the
with-
Bob's Burgers movie, Area 50 fun.
nah.
That's funny.
And was Temple of Doom the next one?
Yes.
Yeah.
1984, the greatest year for movies, along with
Yeah.
the Karate Kid for
I
next week.
remember not being as big a fan of that one because
It makes sense.
A, the kid, 2, that this was such an original idea, and then to have to do it again, you get a little full of yourself, you're a little cocky, and you're competing with yourself. So I don't think they did it as well, but
It's also a very darker film, and it's one of the movies that led to the PG-13 rating. And
Right,
there's
right,
some,
right.
there's some very bad stereotyping in the film.
Yeah.
It's got some problems, but honestly, over the years, I've come to enjoy that film more and Last Crusade less.
all righty. So I think next year we need to watch every Steven Spielberg movie. That's what we need to do.
We've already watched like 3 of them, and we've got at least one more coming up. So
So there's another 40 to do. Okay. So
Natasha
That's it?
said we should
Okay.
actually just watch the Spielberg World War II movies. And I said, sure, that could be fun, but nobody's going to sit through 1941 but me.
Right, right.
I didn't hate it. All right. Join us next week. We're going to be celebrating 39 years of The Karate Kid, which was one of Mark's choices. And we're all going to have a little reunion at Joel's next Saturday because I'll be in Connecticut. How fun.
Yeah.
Can't wait to see you all. All right. I'm Frank Gaffney. Go watch a movie.
you.
Mm-mm.